Prepper003 here today with another video for you, and this one is going to be another force multiplier video, and that is going to be communities and an SHTF scenario. Now I know that I've done a separate video commenting on how communities can be a threat to preppers, but this one is going to be on the flip side and how communities can actually be very beneficial to preppers and why preppers actually should have communities rather than trying to be the lone wolf. Now, I'm not going to make it about the lone wolf versus the communities. That's a whole separate video in itself. This one is just going to be discovering and talking about the main things that make a community such a big asset to a prepper. Now, whether it be a family community, a township, or something much larger than that, communities are a very beneficial thing to preppers because of one of the big things is going to be numbers. In an SHTF scenario, numbers are going to matter. Numbers are going to be able to help create a much stronger defense. They're going to be able to gather much more resources, and they're also going to be able to help diversify within the group as well. So the first thing is going to be talking about is the numbers aspect. Now when it comes to the group's numbers, you have a variety of different things when it comes to that. Of course, you're going to have, with more people, you're going to have more resources going out, but you're also going to be able to diversify those people into multiple different roles, whether it be defense, whether it be security, whether it be communications, medical, and even just a hunting and gathering. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and you have a lot more people, allowing you and your community to be able to gather much more resources than what you would be able to with a very limited amount of people. So you kind of have to just do a kind of a risk factor on, do the risks of having a larger community outweigh the gains? So you just kind of have to look at that to figure out what's going on in your situation, where you're living, in your location. But that's one thing that definitely comes into with having a large community, is being able to get that extra resource and being able to fill all of those extra essential key roles. Now we're going to move on to professions. Now, well, I know a lot of preppers try to diversify themselves as much as possible, much more than just knowing basic first aid, basic firearms training and stuff, and try to make themselves to be a kind of jack of all trades. It's very difficult for somebody to do that over a very short period of time. That's why when it comes to having multiple different people inside the community, you can have somebody that's devoted their whole life towards medicine, somebody that's devoted themselves into the military, somebody that's devoted themselves into being a craftsman, and filling all of those different types of roles, and on top of that, also being able to teach that to the younger generation. And still, you can pretty much be able to build up a even greater community from the people that are being brought in, and on top of that, the younger generation that's going to be coming up, it's with the families that are going to be in that community as well. So in an effort, you're actually just creating a much larger community, and you're able to building on the building blocks and the foundation of that as well. So in all of reality, it just really helps to have people that have actual professions that they've pursued, and to have those people in a place where they can actually teach those professions and those very specialty tasks and skills to other people as well. Even if it's just like for example, somebody that's a medical professional teaching somebody basic first aid. Sure, he might only know the basic first aid, but that's something he did not know beforehand. As into somebody that's in the military is able to train up his own small security force to help give you guys some extra protection over something you might be able to just learn out at a basic NRA instructor course, where you're just pretty much learning the basics of firearm safety and firearm manipulation, because he's able to get into small unit tactics, he has the combat experience, and he's able to actually get these people the proper training that they need to be able to protect their community. So that's where professions really come into it. Now moving down the road a little bit, now that we've talked about the numbers, and on top of that, the risk versus the gains, and on top of the professions, you come into trade. Now what that does is, like, you have somebody that's a town doctor, you have somebody that's a town security specialist, you have somebody that's good with communications. Those are very valuable actual jobs that people are going to be able to do. So you might have somebody that was injured in the outlying area of the community, and he comes in seeking treatment or some type of food or aid. You're able to give him that aid in turn for getting some type of maybe valuable metals. Maybe he has some vehicle parts you need, or something along that kind of lines, or he has food from his crops that he's growing, and he's able to bring that into the community in tune for exchange for services. So that's where trade can really come in handy, and it can even grow the community even further out than that, to the point where now you have a bustling town over just a whole bunch of random families hunkering down together, creating a major place of trade, and also, and two, building up the local economy of that area. To eventually, going on to the last topic, is rebuilding the area. Now, right now, it might not be something that is a huge catastrophic situation, but if we're going to where we're having to create our own communities and everything after a catastrophic SHTF scenario happened, that is something that can be very, very valuable. And essential is having all those different professions, having the allotted huge amount of people there, and on top of that, being able to produce trade and services. You can eventually really rebuild and work at rebuilding the entire nation, one town at a time. Because you can actually start teaching other people these skills and these trade professions. For example, you can have people come in and learn how to grow crops, to bring them in and to learn proper medical training and things like that. So it just really helps having a community all nightly knitted together and being able to work alongside each other with knowing that they've got your back. Now, I know that when it comes to actually finding fellow community members and finding other people that are like that in the prepper community isn't always easy, but that's where outreaching to other people, outreaching to your neighbors, and trying to get everybody to be prepared really does come in handy. So I want to hear what you guys think about preparedness for a community. And on top of that, if you think that working in a community is much better than working in a lone wolf style, or if you think that the overall risk of being in a community is just too high and you would prefer to run in lone wolf style. So I really want to hear what you guys have to think about that and what your guys' points on. If you agree with me or not, I'd really want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments. So I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of just want to make it short with the communities just because I've touched on it already with the negative aspect of it. So I wanted to just really hit all the positives of a community. So really, thank you. I appreciate it. And remember, those that prepare for today survive tomorrow.